Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm the Gerbil, and I want to talk about a tricky question: farming and who to farm, and how do you know who to farm? So I was browsing Reddit and I came across this question that somebody was asking: should I farm Gungans because they're the hot new thing and they seem to be needed for all the galactic challenges and they're doing so good in Grand Arena and whatnot? Or should I go farm Bane? And the thing was, they already had Bane at 7 stars. So it wasn't like, that they need to go do the proving grounds for a year and a half. They got 7 stars. So should they dump all their Cairo investment and gear into Bane? Or should they save it and start to develop, the Gungan squad? And that got me thinking. I had the same situation this week where I had to recognize that Luthen Rail is going to be unlocked in a week. I'm going to have him at 7 stars as the conquest character winds down. And at the same time, I just unlocked Bo-Katan. And so I only have enough gear and relic materials to invest in one of those two. And I was like, who do I go for? Do I go for Luthen, who obviously I don't have, or do I go for Bo-Katan? And the answer was, as you can see, I've already put 3 Zetas on her, and just today I got her up to Relic 3, but this hasn't updated yet. I went for Bo-Katan. How did I make that decision? And how should this person make the decision? And how should you make the decision? Well, I think that this is actually really easy, and I'm going to frame it for you in a very simple way. Now, I don't actually put all this down on paper, but I do think through it this way. When I'm trying to figure out who to farm, I ask myself first, how many characters do I need to finish to complete a squad? Well, if I'm thinking about Gungans, the answer is 5. But if I'm thinking about Bane, then 1. Because while Bane's maximum squad size should never be more than 2. The rule of 2. It should only be 2. But the thing is, right, you need a wingman. And I'm certain at almost any level in the game, if you were considering gearing Bane and you got him at 7 stars, then you have a wingman. Whether it's Sith Empire Trooper, Darth Maul, Darth Sidious, Sith Marauder, Sith Assassin, Dooku, it doesn't really matter. All of them are viable with Bane. So without any doubt, I have to immediately give that check to Bane. Bane would be the faster of the 2 options to farm, hands down. Now we're considering the whole squad and we're assuming you've got all of them at 7 star. Time to complete. Well, when you're farming 1 character versus 5 characters, you're going to finish the 1 significantly faster. In terms of Chirotech, well, Bane needs a lot of Chirotech. Like if we go over here and we look at his kit, we look at his gear list, Bane needs an astonishing 300 battle computer Chirotechs. And then he also needs 200 of the shock prods. Like, that's a lot of gear. But you know what? Even at 500 Chirotechs, you know what needs more? 5 Gungans. Because see, if we go back and we just pick a Gungan, they all have about the same gear. See, Boss Nass, he needs 250 computers, 150. So he needs 400. That's definitely less than 500. But like I said, there are 5 Gungans. So here's Gungan Bombardier, just grab one at random, 250 shock prods, 150. I think they all need 400. So quick math, 400 times 5 is 2,000 versus 500 Chirotechs. Duh, Bane wins. Which one is going to be faster to relic? Obviously, 1 character needs 1/5 the amount of relic materials as a whole squad. Which one now becomes more viable in terms of success in GAC, TW, basically the events of the game? Well, this one is tricky. It depends where you want to go. Are you wanting to, focus your strengths in defense? If you're a defensive player, I would say Gungans. If you're an offensive player, I would say Bane. Why? Well, seriously, if we go again to SWGOH and we look at counters, who does Bane counter? Well, pretty much everything. See, Queen Amidala is the other new shiny next to Gungans right now, and Bane beats it with Sith Assassin. Moving down the list, Bane beats Gungans with and without Jar Jar. Bane beats Rey. Bane beats Admiral Raddus. Bane beats Malicos. Bane beats Phoenix with Rex. Bane beats Starkiller. Bane beats everything. Oh man, look at that. They even beat Ewoks. Gosh, dang it, that's disappointing. Bane beats pretty much not everything. I mean, there are definitely teams you don't want to go up against, but Bane smashes Lord Vader. And if anybody has ever played this game, you pretty much will always see Vader on defense once you hit a certain point in the game. Similar with a bunch of these squads, right? So in terms of like GAC viability, I have to give the win to Bane. In Territory Wars, actually, I would give it over to Gungans, because if you can't beat something, hopefully someone in your guild can, no matter what. With the boss-ass Omicron, your Gungans, though, have a really, really good defensive rate in Territory Wars. What about Territory Battles? Well, you know what? Neither. Like, in my opinion, Gungans can win in a few places, but mine are Relic 9, and they still get destroyed in most of the events. The Territory Battle just really isn't made for Gungans. There are a few planets where they can win, but it's not worth considering it for the investment, so we're just going to call that a wash. In terms of galactic challenges and conquest, the answer there to me has to be Gungans, because all the conquest stuff goes there. But that's going to the challenge, galactic challenge and conquest feats, that's going to wane out in time. Just like we had all Inquisitor stuff, and then we had all something else, I don't remember. Eventually there will not be any more Gungan galactic challenges, and that's going to fade into obscurity. Nonetheless, I'm still going to give them the win. Finally, ship requirements. Sorry, Gungans are likely never to be a requirement for a ship unless we get a Gungan Naboo fleet, which I don't see that happening. So that has to go to Bane. Why? Because if you go with a bunch of different wingmen, like Sith Assassin, it's needed for Leviathan. Sith Marauder, needed for Leviathan, right? Dooku, needed for a GL. I think Sith Empire Trooper, I think, is needed for Sith Eternal. I don't remember. I could be wrong on that. But the point is, Bane's wingmen are almost always needed for something. So 1 versus 5, 1/4 the Cairo, 1/5 the relic materials. Easy, cheesy decision, no doubt. This is just kind of like how I run through this in my head. But back to my original question, like, I have a choice, Bo-Katan or Luthen. And to figure that one out, I do go through the same checklist. Okay, so like if we imagine that this is Luthen here, I'm just going to put a nice little capital L here, and over here we're going to change that to Bo-Katan. Well, this becomes a little bit more challenging to figure out, but I have to think about this. Luthen is going to elevate my Mon Mothma squad, which is already reliced out, or I could lift my light side Mandos. Now I have to think of it this way: which one am I already using? I'm already using my Mon Mothma squad a lot. I seriously use my Mon Mothma characters all the time. Sometimes I even put Mon Mothma and Scarab with GL Leia. Sometimes I put the squad on defense and GAC. I do use it in territory battles. Is Luthen going to make a significant difference there? No. Bo-Katan on the other side, I don't ever use my light side Mandalorians outside of a Fennec Shand attempt to sometimes take down Lord Vader, which doesn't work so well anymore. So in terms of which one to finish, well, Bo is going to finish a squad versus Mon Mothma Rebel Fighters that's already finished. So I'm going to have to give the win to Bo. Time to complete, it's going to be the same for both of them, so nothing to say about that. In terms of Chirotech, it turns out they're both about the same. They're both only one characters. Which one's going to benefit me more in GAC? This comes down to a no-brainer. I'm going to maintain a squad, maybe improve it, or I'm going to get a whole new squad. And if I jump over here to like the SWGOH Who to Attack, like this is one of the greatest resources out there. So I'm looking Who to Attack with Bo-Katan Mandalore. And what I know in 3v3 is she does great stuff, right? Trench, Beck, whatever, Maul. But let's go hit 5v5 since that's coming up next and check this action out. In 5v5, Bo-Katan defeats Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, Ad-Rad, Maul, Geos, Dash, Sana, Mon Mothma. And the big one is Vader. Dr. Aphra beats Aphra. Lord Vader, look at that 100% win versus Lord Vader. Another Lord Vader, another Lord Vader, 100%, 100%, almost every iteration. And again, I always see Lord Vader, and now I pretty much always see Dark Trooper Moff Gideon. So what I need is consistent ways to win, and Bo-Katan Mandalore is going to give me that. Is Luthen going to give me that? Too early to tell. Maybe, maybe not, but I'm already using Mon Mothma. So why lift something I'm already using when I can have a whole new squad that is absolutely going to rock? Now, Bo-Katan is 100% needed. I mean, arguably not, but yes, needed in Rise of the Empire territory battle, whereas Mon Mothma, not really so much. Which one's going to be more beneficial in Conquest, as we've just seen, and probably going forward? Absolutely Bo-Katan, right? There was even a feat, win with Bo-Katan Mandalore surviving. There's been a whole bunch of win with light side Mandalores. That is likely not going to change because CG wants us to win and battle with Bo-Katan. They want you to gear it up, and it's an incredibly challenging event. And then which one's needed for a ship? Well, you know what? Luthen is probably going to get a ship. I feel strongly about that. But at the same time, I think down the road, we are strongly likely to start getting some Mandalore ships. So I'm going to give both those a win. Now, when I look at it this way, it was a really easy decision. Who do I gear? Luthen next week or Bo-Katan now? Well, GAC is also starting soon. If I wait, I'm not going to have Luthen for that GAC, but I will have my Bo-Katan. So it's timely, it's just as efficient, and I get more bang for my buck, right? So that's how I decide, folks. I don't know. You tell me how you decide in the comments. I'd love to hear. And if this was interesting or helpful, you know what to do. Please, pretty please, like, sub. I do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later on the tables. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.